Oh, you fans that were doing the wave, you are so gosh darn lucky that the team managed to hang on. They hung on for the win tonight in what I thought overall was a real strong effort from everyone top to bottom in this lineup. There were 10 different players with points. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins turns back the clock. Vintage Nuge with the hat trick. You absolutely love to see it. Jeff Skinner continues his hot play. He had a goal tonight. Adam Henrique, he had a power play goal, and you love to see it. A lot of players that I talked about in the pregame report that I had mentioned that, have to contribute offensively if this team is going to win some games without Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl, and the players that needed to step up did, especially their veteran players. Their veteran forwards who've been around a long time. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, the main one, he was the driver tonight. He was driving the bus, and everyone followed suit. Chris Knobloch liked his decision-making behind the bench. I liked how he was rolling all four lines. Overall, I'm not upset with this game at all. Yes, it shouldn't have been as close as it was. Yes, I want a couple more saves from Stuart Skinner, but 2 points is 2 points, and as long as they're banking some points when McDavid and Draisaitl are not in the lineup, I don't care how they do it. Obviously, they need to clean up around the crease area. They had one goal that they challenged for goalie interference that Seattle scored early in the third, which it was goalie interference in my opinion. I don't know how anyone could dispute that. It was very obvious that there was contact on Skinner and his pad was being pushed as well. But overall, for Edmonton, they got to clean up the crease area, and like about a foot out from the crease, they have to do a better job at boxing other teams out, boxing forwards out. You can't let teams get those second and third opportunities because we know Stuart Skinner's rebound control is shaky at best. And tonight was no exception. Stuart Skinner's rebound control, incredibly shaky. But in tonight's fan reaction, of course, we're going to go through the box score. I'm going to go through a couple of the goals from the Edge visualizer on NHL.com. And then we'll finish things off with questions from all of you, the fans at home, those of you who have sent me questions either on the Discord or Twitter.com. If you ever want to send me questions at ahockey1993. On game nights, I usually put out a tweet being like, hey, send me your questions or comments. Doesn't even have to be a question. You could just put your general thoughts of the game out, and I'll find it for you. But yeah, we'll go through the Edge visualizer here. Let me just get, there we go. Here we go. Adam Henrique, he started things off for Edmonton on the power play. The second unit went out there and got the job done on Edmonton's first power play of the night. Nurse was moving around, gave it to Ekholm. Henrique walks in top of that left circle, and he absolutely roofs it past Joey Decord. Capo Caco ties it at 1, and then Nugent-Hopkins with his first of 3 goals tonight. We'll watch his first goal as he got in on the forecheck. Kulak was also getting in there. Oh, I guess it was defensive zone. Sorry. Nugent-Hopkins, he walks in and he shoots, and it goes off of the defender's stick. I made a funny, well, it wasn't a funny joke, but I made a joke stating that Nugent-Hopkins with an absolute snipe on Joey Decord, and it was a snipe, an untraditional snipe. And then Jeff Skinner, this was an actual snipe. Connor Brown, he finds Jeff Skinner wide open in the front here. Jeff Skinner probably could have had about 3 or 4 goals again tonight. He was all over it. He was dynamic offensively. And when you play a player that has historically scored goals throughout his entire career, he's going to score some goals. If you play him for more than 8 minutes a night, Chris Knobloch, at least he's playing him now. And Jeff Skinner, he's showing something before the playoffs, so it's going to be very difficult to ever healthy scratch him again, especially when he's playing like this. There is no reason to ever take him out of the lineup once again. In fact, I would argue that this only affirms that he should be in that top 6 moving forward. Even when McDavid and Draisaitl are healthy, I'd like to see Jeff Skinner continue to get these opportunities. Nugent-Hopkins scored his second goal of the night on the power play, and this was similar to a Draisaitl power play goal against Montreal, where you had the play along the half wall. Zach Hyman gets in front of the goaltender, and you get a shot from a left-handed shooter, the top of the left circle here. Draisaitl did that against Montreal a few weeks ago. Nugent-Hopkins does it. He goes short side this time. I know Leon Draisaitl's goal went far side on Montembeault. So for the Oilers, this looks like it might be a kind of a new setup for their power play because this is not the first time that they've attempted this either since that Draisaitl goal. I do like working it along the half wall. I like this left-handed shot coming in. I like Hyman in front of the goalie, creating a screen and preventing the goalie from seeing it. Great finish from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And then, of course, the empty netter to make it 5-3. And this is what the score likely should have just stayed at. But Seattle, they did not go away. So I do give some credit to Seattle for not going away here. Wallman finds Nugent-Hopkins, and Nugent-Hopkins, he shoves it all the way down the ice into the empty net. And he gets I believe that's the first hat trick of the entire season for any Edmonton Oiler. And go figure, it comes in a game where they don't have their two better offensive players, the two best players in the world, not contributing to a 5-goal night from Edmonton. As I mentioned, 10 different players had points tonight, including 6 forwards and 4 defensemen. We'll take a look at the Oilers. Nugent-Hopkins had 3 points, Hyman with an assist, Henrique with a goal, Connor Brown an assist, Kapanen and Skinner rounded out. I thought Kapanen had a pretty good game as well. I thought Derek Ryan looked pretty solid in his, emergence into the lineup after he was sent down to Bakersfield a couple months ago. So it's nice to see him up and contribute. He made a couple really good defensive plays that prevented Seattle from getting a good attack on transition. So I love seeing that from Derek Ryan. Matthias Janmark, I thought he had a pretty good game too. You probably don't want to play him for almost 18 minutes a night, but he did have some chances, and it's only a matter of time before he does get off the schneid, as Jack Michaels would say, and he ends up putting one into the net. Corey Perry, he was a -2. I didn't think he played horrible, but I think you got to take him out of the top 6 right now. He did play on a line with Henrique and Hyman in the, I guess, I'll put top 6 in like quotation marks, because obviously Perry only played 10:57, but I don't think you want him playing too much on a line with Henrique, who's also older, and Zach Hyman, who he battles along the boards for the puck, but he's not good at puck movement. Hyman's a net front guy. He's there to bash in rebounds. I just didn't like the look of that line overall tonight. Vasily Podkolzin, he was all over it. He had a couple great opportunities. Would have loved to see him pot one, but him, Nugent-Hopkins, and Victor Arvidsson continue to play very, very well together. Matthias Ekholm, 2 assists. He was wearing the A on his sweater tonight with the absence of Draisaitl and McDavid. Darnell Nurse had 2 assists. Was a little shaky once again in his own zone with Jake Wallman. Couple plays where I'd like them to just be a little bit more solid at boxing players out, but I'm not going to complain on a night where almost every defenseman got a point here. Evan Bouchard had an assist. I didn't think he had his strongest game either, but as a team, they played good enough to win, and that's all I care about. Stuart Skinner rocking the .871 save percentage. Stu gets the W, but yikes. This is the goaltending that we're left with, so hopefully he can just turn his game around here. At the end of the day, the games that truly matter most are going to be in the playoffs, so I'm going to reserve the negativity for in the future, potentially. Tonight, it's all positives, and speaking of positives, let's get into the questions from the fans. These are the ones that I saw before I started recording. So if you sent something after these, I do apologize that I didn't get to it. I'll try and get to as many as I can in the future. AJ, the Oily Boy, says, no McDavid, no Draisaitl, no problem. A little closer than it should have been. Give Seattle credit. They never went away, but the Oilers were the better team. Rico looked good. Dimples looked great. Even the janitor was flying. All great points. I could not agree more with you. I did think Edmonton was the better team. However, when we take a look at the advanced stats here, Seattle's deserved a win-o-meter. They were at 67.4% because their numbers were incredibly inflated by how many looks they got in that crease area. This is what I'm talking about. These are the high danger looks in the crease area, this light blue or teal looking color here. Look at how big those bubbles are. The bigger the bubble, that means the higher danger, or the more likely that shot was to be a goal. And they scored 4 of their goals actually, all in tight. So the Edmonton Oilers have to do a much better job at clearing that out. The expected goals in all situations tonight, 4.8 to 2.98 in favor of Seattle, according to Money Puck. I haven't taken a look at Natural Stat Trick yet, but I imagine it might be semi-similar. If this does hold, though, that means Stuart Skinner still saved 0.8 goals above expected. So when you look at it like that, maybe Stu had a good night in net. It was a positive night, right? That's all we're looking for, is for him to be positive. But that's an interesting thing to look at when it comes to the Money Puck, because I did think Edmonton generated some really good looks, and I thought their, deserve to win, at least with the eye test, was stronger, but the analytics websites say maybe not so close. So it is because of how many high danger looks Seattle did get in that crease area. They got to clamp down a little bit harder. Jay says Nurse, Skinner. Yeah, I don't disagree that Nurse could have been better on a couple of the goals, and Stuart Skinner, obviously, a couple that beat him. I don't know, man. They just... The one that went short side by his glove, I don't even know how that went through him, because it looked like he was in position, but I don't know. It was the rebound that he gave up about 10 seconds before that goal that allowed the play to continue that I'm disappointed in more than the actual goal against. Tyler asks, is the lack of killer instinct from Stu to shut down a tight game at times concerning heading into the playoffs? We've seen him elevate his play, but this rut has been consistent now for months. It would be nice for the Oilers to win comfortably. That 7-1 win against Utah was fantastic because the whole game, basically after the first period, Oilers fans could just breathe and enjoy the game. But other than that, there's not many games where the Oilers are winning like 3-1, 4-2. Like, every game is a nail biter because of the goaltending. Even when the Oilers are up 4-2 in the third and they're pressing for more offense, you just don't feel comfortable. And every time a puck goes towards Stuart Skinner, I'm like actively flinching because I'm scared it's going to go through him. I just want him to make that big save every now and then and just instill a little bit of confidence, not only in the fans, but in himself, because he did look pretty disappointed after the game tonight. I think he knows he didn't play his best, but I did like Corey Perry kind of talking to him, probably just making sure and letting him know, like, hey, don't worry about it. You'll play better next time, and we got the win for you. No big deal. So they won as a team tonight, Stuart Skinner included. But that is a good point. I would like to see Stu lock it down just a little bit more, please. Dougie D-Man says, defensively, this team is embarrassing. I have no clue what they were doing in the third period. Nurse and Wallman getting burned on the fourth goal and then right back out there again. Really? That's a coaching staff that has faith in his defensemen to not make the same mistake twice. Lucky for Edmonton, it did not result in another goal against, but I do agree tonight there's just too many easy looks for Seattle in tight towards Skinner. Got to clamp down. M says Nurse and Skinner with the Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber gagging gif. That's funny. Small says Nuge equals Oiler for life. Do those who say we need to trade him get fired into the sun from now on? Also, no 3 for 3 for me. As you all know, Small, if you've been tuning into these post-game fan reactions, he has been predicting the players to watch very accurately. So, but tonight it wasn't Nuge. Should have known it'd be Nuge tonight. That's okay, Small. You can't be right all the time. You're being humble with your game knowledge right now. But when it comes to Nugent-Hopkins being an Oiler for life, obviously that last contract that he signed, we all knew that he would likely be an Oiler for life. The fan sentiment with Nuge, including myself, has been that he needs to produce more. For the money he makes and the role that he's given, playing alongside Connor McDavid for the majority of the season, you'd like more production. But on nights like tonight, obviously, it reinforces the fact that Nugent-Hopkins is a very, very good player, very smart player, offensively gifted. There's a reason he went first overall in 2011. There's a reason why he was able to score 100 points once upon a time. So for Nugent-Hopkins, I'm happy he turned the clock back. He doesn't have to get a hat trick every night, but if he plays like this every single night and like he has over the last couple of weeks, I can't complain. That's great hockey from Nugent-Hopkins. Erica says, Oilers kind of collapsed in the third, but I don't care because Nugent-Hopkins hat trick, first hattie of the Oilers for the Oilers this season. Rah! Just freaking out. Love to see that and hear that. Trent says, what a win. Wasn't easy, but got the job done. We need a healthy McDavid, Draisaitl, Frederick, and Kane. What do the Oilers need to work on mentally? I think mentally right now, the team, I think, is probably in a pretty good spot. It comes down to just being more aware on the ice where certain players are and clamping down and locking down those rush chances against. The Oilers just can't defend the rush at all. For whatever reason, they just haven't been able to properly adjust to rush opportunities against, whether it's breakaways, 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s. The fourth goal for Seattle tonight, again, like they should all be in position to defend that well, but one guy gets open and the puck hits his stick. Stu can't get over in time. I think that's just the biggest thing they have to work on is just the details, right? Just the little details, but I think they're okay right now. Sam says, we're going into the playoffs with an .896 goaltender. That is mind-boggling to me. You're preaching to the choir, Sam. You're preaching to the choir. I would send my grievances to Stan Bowman and Jeff Jackson, who believed that this tandem was good enough. However, if the goaltending fails in the playoffs, do not be surprised to see this goaltending tandem absolutely blown into smithereens this summer. So hopefully the Oilers can find a way to win something with this tandem. But right now, obviously, nights like tonight where the Oilers put up 5, you wanted a more comfortable win. I totally understand that. And then the Oilers' Hank Hill says 2 main struggles, Skinner with the rebound and the Oilers' D clearing the front of the net. Thoughts? That is 100% accurate, and I've already touched on both of those a ton in this video, but those were great observations. Exactly. Skinner with his rebound control, and then the Oilers' D just not being able to clear the front of the net. They have to start improving that if they're going to have success, because once the playoffs start, teams are going to find ways to get open, and it becomes more physical, and if you're giving up the front of the net that easily, you're not going to win many hockey games. So for Edmonton, just like I said, just the attention to the little details, and they're going to be just fine. But the Oilers, they're going to be off for 3 days. I am also going to be off for the next couple of days. I am going to visit some family this weekend, which I'm very excited to do. So unless there's some kind of crazy breaking news that happens this weekend, don't expect anything from me until probably Tuesday. And then the Oilers play again on Wednesday against Dallas, and then Thursday against Seattle. So the Oilers, they get a couple days off here, 3 days to be exact. And as all of us as fans, we get the days off as well. So thank you all for tuning in. It truly means the world. If you enjoyed this post-game fan reaction, smash the like button. That's all I ask. It goes a long way in supporting the channel. Make sure you tell someone that you love them before bed tonight. And as always, fight like a kid, fight like Ben. Let's go Oilers. We'll see you in the next one.